In the vast expanse of space, a new frontier beckons as two titans of innovation embark on a celestial rivalry. This short documentary delves into the captivating saga of two visionary entrepreneurs vying for lunar dominance. As the world watches, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, fueled by ambition and driven by technological prowess, lead their respective space exploration ventures, SpaceX and Blue Origin, in a quest to reignite humanity's passion for lunar exploration. Join us as we unravel the intricacies of this high-stakes competition and explore the implications of America's renewed fervor for reaching the moon. Half a decade ago, Jeff Bezos addressed an audience of journalists and space enthusiasts from a dimly lit stage in Washington, D.C., with a sizable black curtain backdrop. Dressed in a gray suit and black shirt, he extolled the benefits of lunar exploration, declaring, "It's nearby, it's 3 days away, you can go to the moon just about any time you want." Shortly afterward, Bezos gestured, prompting the curtain to glide away, revealing a colossal spacecraft dubbed Blue Moon. Bezos announced that his aerospace company had been diligently crafting this lunar lander for 3 years, with the intention of ferrying cargo and eventually humans to the lunar surface. However, what he omitted to mention was that the lander served as a mere prop for the occasion. Blue Origin still had a considerable journey ahead before realizing a fully operational vehicle. A more vivid moment in the burgeoning space race unfolded 2.5 months later and 1,700 miles away. Elon Musk observed via live monitors as a steel mini-rocket, resembling a grain silo, ignited its engine amidst the muddy terrain of southern Texas. This prototype, developed by SpaceX, briefly ascended into the air before gracefully descending and returning to an upright position. This marked one of the initial hop tests for what would evolve into SpaceX's forthcoming Starship rocket, designed to showcase the landing technique for future interplanetary ventures, including lunar landings. It has been over 50 years since a human last left an imprint on the lunar surface. Presently, the space race bears resemblance to that of the 1960s, albeit with a different dynamic. Instead of the US versus the Soviet Union, it's Bezos's Blue Origin pitted against Musk's SpaceX. These companies are engaged in a rivalry to return astronauts to the moon's surface, primarily backed by funding from the US government. Both Blue Origin and SpaceX were established at the turn of the century by technology moguls, but their paths diverged significantly thereafter. While SpaceX surged ahead of Blue Origin by swiftly conducting tests and launches with minimal concern for setbacks, SpaceX's lead over Blue Origin in lunar endeavors is substantial. However, given the complexity of the mission, there remains a possibility that Blue Origin may achieve a lunar landing, perhaps without crew members, before SpaceX does. Musk operates his aerospace venture in a manner typical of a profit-driven enterprise, utilizing funds from clients, including government entities, that seek to attach equipment to its rockets as a means of financing product advancement. Bezos, on the other hand, has historically treated Blue Origin more as a research laboratory, although this approach may have shifted recently. The effectiveness of each strategy in winning the lunar race should become evident in the coming years. Carissa Christensen, founder and CEO of Bryce Tech, a space research and analysis firm, encapsulates the difference succinctly. SpaceX has pursued sales, while Blue Origin has invested funds. SpaceX's organizational culture has been characterized by market expansion and customer acquisition, while Blue Origin's focus has been on executing a rigorous research and development strategy. The initiative to return people to the moon commenced in 2017 with a NASA program known as Artemis. Initially, NASA awarded a single $2.9 billion contract for a lunar lander to SpaceX, partially due to budget constraints prompting a lawsuit from Blue Origin. Following congressional lobbying efforts, NASA secured additional funding, resulting in a second contract worth $3.4 billion awarded to Blue Origin. The allocated funds are designated for development, with the companies retaining ownership of the hardware. Kent Choynaki, deputy manager of NASA's Human Landing System program, clarifies, "We're procuring a service, so we do not assume ownership of the hardware." Musk's overarching objective for SpaceX revolves around Mars, as evidenced by the choice of fuel utilized by Starship. While Blue Origin's lunar lander employs hydrogen, potentially extractable from lunar water in the future, Starship utilizes methane, a compound synthesizable on Mars. Musk has expressed his desire to eventually settle on Mars, albeit not through a fatal impact. However, Musk has also recognized the significance of lunar exploration, particularly as NASA lays the groundwork for its missions. In 2017, he remarked, "If you want to get the public fired up, you've got to put a base on the moon." The primary task for each company is to develop a spacecraft capable of parking itself in lunar orbit, awaiting the arrival of NASA astronauts from a secondary spacecraft or a nearby space station. Subsequently, the astronauts would transfer to the company's vehicle, which would then transport them to the lunar surface. Following their activities on the moon's surface, they would reboard the lander and return to lunar orbit. For Musk, the contract provided an opportunity to expedite the development of his prospective Mars shuttle, known as Starship. It stands as the largest and most potent rocket system ever devised, featuring an upper segment designated as a lunar craft capable of upright landing and subsequent takeoff. SpaceX aims to conduct an unmanned trial landing on the moon as soon as next year, with the first manned landing slated for 2026, albeit acknowledging the tendency for delays, a pattern observed in both Musk's and NASA's projects. A significant challenge arises from an untested refueling system necessitating the launch of multiple Starships. Escaping Earth's gravitational pull demands substantial energy, with fuel expenses escalating for heavier payloads. Given the size of Starship, a single tank filled on Earth isn't sufficient for a round trip to the moon and back. SpaceX's strategy involves deploying one Starship into Earth's orbit, serving as a refueling station. Subsequently, approximately 10 additional Starships filled with methane and oxygen will launch to dock with the depot, replenishing its reserves. Once the depot reaches full capacity, another Starship will launch from Earth, dock with the depot, refuel, and embark on the journey to the moon. Blue Origin previously derided this plan, arguing through an infographic that the multi-rocket refueling system was overly intricate and unreliable. However, they have since quietly pivoted, adopting a strategy akin to SpaceX's for their lunar missions, according to Choinaki. Both companies have arrived at similar decisions regarding the number of launches and refills required. Blue Origin's approach entails utilizing 4 to 8 rocket vessels to refuel a spacecraft in low Earth orbit, as explained by Lisa Watson-Morgan, manager of NASA's Human Landing System program. Dubbed a space tug, Blue Origin's refueling station follows the lander into lunar orbit, primed to refuel it for the journey to the lunar surface. The tug facilitates travel between orbits, retrieving additional hydrogen fuel as needed. As soon as the upcoming year, Blue Origin intends to dispatch a cargo iteration of its lunar lander to the moon, devoid of the need for a tug. Should this endeavor prove successful, Bezos's enterprise could potentially outpace Musk's efforts, although Blue Origin maintains a more conservative timeline to transport personnel there by 2029. Yet, aerospace timetables are notoriously unpredictable. Blue Origin's lunar lander is tailored for launch atop its New Glenn rocket, originally slated for liftoff in 2020 but delayed. Presently, New Glenn is scheduled for a September launch, pending successful preparations. Blue Origin needs to accelerate its pace, remarked Bezos on the Lex Fridman podcast in December, citing it as a factor in his decision to step down as CEO of Amazon a couple of years ago. Meanwhile, Musk retains his role as CEO across multiple enterprises, including SpaceX, which remains at the forefront of the aerospace sector. During SpaceX's recent Starship test flight in March, propellants were successfully transferred between tanks, a noteworthy, albeit incremental advancement. A NASA advisory committee reported on April 26 that although SpaceX is still analyzing the data, the experiment was deemed successful according to all assessments. The rivalry between Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos represents a modern-day iteration of America's pioneering spirit, reminiscent of the historic space race of the 20th century. As these visionary entrepreneurs vie for dominance in the realm of space exploration and commercialization, their competition drives innovation, pushes technological boundaries, and inspires a new generation of dreamers to reach for the stars. While the outcome of this cosmic clash remains uncertain, one thing is clear: the legacy of Musk and Bezos' rivalry will shape the future of humanity's journey beyond Earth, forging a path towards new frontiers and expanding the horizons of possibility for generations to come.